Okay, welcome everybody to Supporting Change with Archetypical Communication. Your speaker today is Hillary Blair. Hillary Blair is obsessed with communication, presence, story, and the sharing of voice. She works extensively across the business world, guiding, challenging the enthusiastic and reluctant alike to share their voice while communicating more powerfully. Hillary and her team at Articulate Real&Clear work with clients in the corporate and professional world. Clients include Marzik, Maxar, ACLU, and MD Anderson. Hillary is a professional voice over the stage and a stage actor who has been teaching for 35 plus years. You can hear her on many training videos and webinars, on a series of Nintendo games narrating the planetarium film at the Museum of Nature Science Industry in Denver, and her TEDx talks. She holds a BA from Yale University and an MFA from National Theatre Conservatory. She once worked on a sheep ranch in Montana and binges on Netflix. Welcome, Hillary Blair.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And David, I appreciate that. And intros help to build some credibility, because you're about to go on a journey with us and hopefully some credibility there. And I am not alone. I have my partner, part of my team, my teaching partner today. And Courtney, give a little of yourself. She's actually super impressive.
Hello, my name is Courtney Cawthon. I work with Hillary at Articulate Real&Clear. I am a coach and trainer. I've been at Articulate for about 5 years. My background is also in theater, like Hillary's. I have a PhD in performance studies, which uses theater as a lens to view the world. So I bring that background in theater to help people in the business world to communicate more clearly. Because in theater, we are about building relationships. In business, we are also about building relationships. So I bridge the skills from theater to the business world. And I'm excited to be with you today.
I was wearing my mask. Simply the elephant in the room, though it's a massive elephant or it's not. I was wearing it just to let us know that we are on a huge gamut, right? We all feel very differently, so it's to encourage you to do whatever you need to do today, on and off, and take care of yourself in this space, honoring wherever you are and whatever you need. We will be getting up and moving around, so please do what works for you, and if you need anything to come to you, we will do that. As a trainer, teacher, forever facilitator, it is a challenge in this time, so we may stumble and mess up with the interactive things, so please be with and help us out, like, oh, hey, that's not working, or whatever it might be. The experience today is about that communication piece. We are fascinated by how we communicate or don't. I'm going to jump up on here to do an opening. I have a clock visible. That's so that you know I'm aware of time. I want you to know I'm super aware of time. I found myself in this large, cavernous room. I just spent 30 minutes with my headlamp on my head. I could smell it. I know today you would have a flashlight, a battery, right? But these, I don't even know what it was. I think it's cobalt or something that you light. So it's on my head. I had my helmet on. I was pushing my pack in front of me. 30 minutes on my hands and knees, moving through this tunnel in this really fascinating cave network. We had come out into this big room. It's our first day. We had been out throughout the mountains. We've been off trail. We have been carrying our packs for almost, we're right now about it's 6 weeks, right? So we now are going into the caving section. I'm in this room. I'm seeing stalactites that I'd only seen like in National Geographic magazine, and they're amazing. And then the stalagmite, right, the little mine, hanging tight, the stalagmites on the ground where they're connected. I'm moving around. I'm with the 3 guys that I'm with on my hiking, though we're not really hiking, my group. And we're moving around. I'm looking at the tunnel. I'm like, just came through one like that, and this one over here, and there's one up kind of high. I'm aware of the smell not only of my light, but also of earth. I'm like in the earth, and it's 52 degrees, right? Everywhere it's 52 degrees. I'm super excited. I'm feeling I didn't think I would feel this way. Right now, even thinking about what I just crawled through, that 30 minutes, now today it makes me a little nervous. And at the time, for some reason, I was young and adventurous. I loved it. And I look around and I'm like, okay, let's go next. And I look ahead at Doug. Doug has been our fearless leader. He's been amazing, naturally, over these weeks. I loved being in his hiking group. He had a calm energy. He knew incredible skills, how to read a map, how to read the topography, when things got super rainy, super cold, whatever. He always had the answer. And I look at Doug, and I immediately freeze, because on his face is a look I have never seen before. I'm like, Doug? He goes, yeah. I go, what's up? And he goes, do you know which tunnel we came through? And I was like, yeah, right over here, this one. He goes, okay, good. At that moment, I realized that Doug, who was our fearless leader, was completely lost and tossed by it. He was used to the environment that he was in to guide us, and that was his role. That was who he was, how he showed up, and I loved it. I was this still really basically the same size human being. I wasn't someone who carried a lot of weight when we were out hiking. And here I am in a cave going, yeah, we were there and we're supposed to go there. I have my map, I know exactly where we are. From that day forward, as we were doing our caving section, our roles had to shift. I had gotten super comfortable at following. I was like, okay, good, this is what I do, I'm good, I'm coming along, I can support him, I was good at supporting him, and other people who stepped up in different groups to lead. The environment changed, different skills showed up, and Doug in particular, I watched him learn how to figure out, should he still lead and have people support him, or should he back up and allow the tiny little person to lead through the caves and help out, and have me help me develop my skills to go there. Change. When I was thinking about what we're talking about today, that story, which has been with me for a long time, came to mind. How do we, in a new environment, which is changing, I don't know, I feel like it's changing moment to moment. Anyone else feeling that way? And if it's changing constantly, how do we know who we are, how do we know our role, and how do we know how to communicate? More stories about Doug and he got into what we might say his shadow of his strengths. He got really defensive. He had a lot of unhappy sides. I had never seen that. He was calm under every circumstance. So today, we, in this time together, are going to explore using the archetypes. Reusing in here, they're around, you can see them on the wall, and then we have up on the wall in a really nice photocopy color version, which you can go take a photo of, so you have it on your phone and you can look at it for sure. And that has great detailing on it. On the back of your handout, it has some communication elements, or the front, depends which side you're, I don't know if it's the back or the front, whichever side you're not, there's one side that has communication elements. We are going to be looking at the archetypes, and we are going to be seeing how they impact our own communication. They are a vessel that holds how we see the patterns in story in the world. And we'll explore that a little bit more, and it will be hands-on, and we'll get up and we'll move, and then we're going to come into a part where we're going to get up and try on conversations knowing that. From our experience, Courtney and I being in the theater, when we started exploring archetypes, they fit for us because they're stories and we're theater people. And what I found fascinating was all of them are in all of us. These are the Jungian ones. There are so many different archetypes, right? These are the 12 that Jung talks about, and the archetypes have been used in branding for a long time, and we find them helpful in communication. I follow like 3 other major people who like to explore archetypes, and one of them has like 108, one has 72. So there's different numbers of them. So feel free to take a photo of that, and we'll be using that in some of our exploration. There is an assessment. We're not going to talk about the assessment we're going to encourage you if you want to go there, but most of us kind of have a feeling. So as you're looking around and seeing these, right now I'm going to guide you in a warm-up. And it's a warm-up because I feel that the thing that gets lost in our corporate world, in our business world, in our day-to-day work is this body. We become ideas, we become thoughts. And we need to make sure that we are bodied. And as an actor, embodiment is super important. I want you to know, we talk a lot about being uncomfortable. So we're going to invite you to be comfortably uncomfortable. We're not going to look for you to be comfortable all the time. That's really when, I'm home binging on Netflix. It'd be great. So right now, take your whichever shoulder. I was going to say your left shoulder, and that confused me because this is my right shoulder. I don't know why I was saying that. So take whatever shoulder you'd like and start doing little circles with your shoulder. And now, without thinking about it, without just going into your own little space zone, you don't have to look at anybody else. You can watch me for sure. Think about that shoulder, and if I said to you, I want you to move your shoulder like a hero, what does that do? Don't even worry about it. Don't right or wrong. Just go hero. What's a hero shoulder do? Right? What's a hero? What does an innocent shoulder feel like? And it may not look any different on the outside. It's like, how does it show up on your body? And then allow the other one to join in. How do two shoulders show up as an explorer? And who knows what an explorer? We're going to discover what that is. You have your idea of what an explorer is. How about a ruler? Rolling your shoulders forward as a ruler. What does that feel like? And now as a jester, I don't know. What does a jester feel like? What's a magician feel like? Allowing these storylines to simply come through without worrying about it. Though I will invite you to check in and make sure you're still breathing. Oh, yeah. Allowing that breath to happen. And when we talk about breath as an actor, as a voiceover actor, as someone who's been teaching people to get in touch with their voice and their breath for a long time, the thing that I care about is the exhale. The problem is that COVID makes it a little nerve-wracking to be worried about the exhale. So exhale in your own private space, just quite like, and I'm way up here, so. The reason the exhale is important versus the inhale is when we worry about the inhale, we tend to cause tension, which is when we're nervous. Just exhale. You also know that you exhale as we get back in our body. We exhale when we're frustrated by something. Really? It's the natural instinct is the exhale. So there are some counterintuitive things we've been taught. So exhale, and now exhale like you feel like a creator. I'm pointing at something. It's like a creator. Like a lover. For some reason, I wanted to go to a sigh. When I said lover, I'm like, ah. I added a little sound to it. If you are comfortable, I invite you to stand up. Don't feel like you have to. Whatever you're doing, stand on up. And we're going to move. Be brave. If you're feeling brave to stand on up, yeah, people in front, go for it. Then it'll make other people. And reach on up as a creator. Reach on up as a ruler. Reach, sideways. We're getting our body. Make sure you're breathing. Keep that breath going. Explorer. Magician. I don't know. What's a magician feel like? So we're thinking about the archetypes, and you all are here. Some of you have more experience with the archetypes than I do. All right, for sure. That idea. Great. Put in your hips. I know. No one moves their hips in business land. Move your hips. I have flowy things. We don't have our hips. Loosen them up a little bit. Don't look at anyone. Look down while you're moving your hips. Look here. Loosen it up. It's similar to neck. Neck, shoulder, hips are the things that tend to lock when people piss us off. It's like, going on, right? So we want to loosen those and let a little breath come through. I'm not sure that word should have been in the recording. Sorry about that. That is not. All right, so here we go. So thinking about our body and embodiment. That's what we're looking for, is full body. Right now, stretch anything you need to stretch to be connected. And you can stretch your hands. If you're seated, just stretch your face, whatever it is, so that you're here. And then what's super important is that I don't ask anyone that I work with, that I'm not asking anyone to move like this. Bonnie knows us. We don't ask people. Lisa knows us. We don't ask people to do this weird movement. We ask that you get back in touch with your body so that when you're talking with someone, you are fully present, not only in your head. That embodiment helps us be more present and available for people. And it helps us be more self-aware. So great, so take your stretched out body. You can sit down. We'll be up in just a second and moving around again. Anything else, Courtney, you good? All right, we want to keep moving on here. With that sense of embodiment and that sense of being a full breath and being connected, thinking about archetypes and thinking about communication, we talk about self-consciousness versus self-awareness. Self-aware is something we keep talking about, and you are in the world of managing teams, whether they're small or big, or whether it's just yourself, you are managing people. Self-awareness is one of the first tools. How do I be self-aware of my communication so I'm aware of you? Here's the thing I have found in my work, and I drag Courtney along, is that if you are self-aware without tools to adjust anything, hey, I'm not really connecting with this person. If I don't have tools to adjust why we're not connecting, I become self-conscious. Self-aware keeps me in dialogue, keeps me in relationship. If I become self-conscious, I put up a wall. Today, what we're looking for is one or two more tools around that idea. How do I remain? What's one more tool for going, wow, Bonnie, I'm not connecting. What's going on in my own head, right? I can say it out loud. Sometimes that's helpful. But right now, my journey for all these years is how do I communicate better? Often when I take off, I have an idea, what's going on, I send it to you, and I'm like, wow, that so didn't connect at all. Sometimes what I say is I took off and it landed at a different airport. We're not even in the same country. I'm like, that is not what I intended. That is when we want to go, okay, I'm self-aware, great, what can I adjust to move through that, to be more present? Archetypes, the stories and the patterns in our lives that we're aware of. They're in movies, they're in our novels. I want to take a quick up, sort of like a, 500-foot, how tall it went on a 30-foot view right now, and just remind us that archetypes and stereotypes wander in a similar world. Archetypes are inclusive, embracive. They bring us all the belief that we're all in the same story. It's a way of going, oh, I have that piece in me and you have that piece in you. It's a shared story. That's why we love the novels and movies that we do. Stereotypes separate us. They separate out one element of someone and make someone the other versus including us together. And there's more to it than that. But at times, you could even feel when you said, hey, Hillary's having me move my shoulder like a hero. Is that an archetype, or am I doing stereotypical things? Maybe. If we can expand it into that inclusion of others and all the different aspects of people, then we're exploring the archetypes and the different elements. All 12 of these archetypes are in all of us. Some of them are latent. Doug definitely was an explorer and definitely was a ruler, perhaps, a hero. I don't know for sure. His latent probably was some of the innocent. Now, innocent is an interesting one. We'll talk about that in a bit. Maybe innocent of going, wow, finding wonder in everything. He was more trying to really find the way through. His latent elements, I don't know. Does anybody have an idea looking around what Doug might have had as a latent one, knowing that, I don't know, Courtney, you chime in too. What could be latent? Maybe every person because he was leading? I don't know. If it were latent, he was having to bring it forward, the caregiver, bringing that forward. My caregiver was on high alert. I'd been taking care of everybody, and now I had to lead, which is different. So how do our energies shift when different demands? When there's pressure, what shows up? When there's pressure, do we go to our shadow side? Do we go to our strength side? Do we pull on a different archetype? So right now, I'm going to ask that everyone, if you're comfortable, that you each rise, and I would like to spread out to there are 12 around here. Spread out in front of distance as you need. And so, wait, before you move, my bad. This is that moving with COVID. It's slightly different from my interactive exercises. So grab a pen and a Post-it, and you are going to, and we tried to put 3 pens and some Post-its there, and I'm going to have you spread out. Don't worry whether the one you're going to is you at all. Don't worry about that. We're just trying to evenly spread out and take care of the 12 archetypes. Go and spread near an archetype with a pen and Post-its with you. Great. Making sure I'm like on. I'm like, okay, here we go. So And also feel free to take a picture of the 12, because we're going to be talking about those that are up on the wall there. In front of your poster, with your Post-its, will you write the energy, an idea, a voice? What are the things, where people lead from, that you associate? It can be a character, like let's say you're in front of one, you're like, oh, I think of a movie, or I think of a person. If you have anything goes, you're going to write it on your Post-it and pop it on that poster. And then you can have to add 2, 3. Some of you are like, I've got 1 Post-it up, I'm fine. Some of you are like, I have 10. I'm that kind of person. So feel free, write on a Post-it. So if you thought of lover, it's like, breath flowing, sigh, caring, reaching out. Think of the body, think of the energy, think of anything that comes to mind for yours. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'm on a microphone. This room actually has great acoustics, but I'm on the mic because we're being recorded. So if you have a question, Courtney may run over the microphone. I may repeat what you have to say so that it's definitely on here. So does that make sense right now? Take a little bit of time and write some ideas. And some of them we're more familiar with than others. And there is no right answer, by the way. And if you look at the poster, it gives some good insight. And feel free to add as many as you'd like. We're just making sure that all of the pieces of paper are taken care of. And then look around the room and go to one that you're like, I don't connect to that as strongly, and go over there and live with it a moment and see if you can come up and put 1 post on it. So go to another one where you don't connect as much. It's not one where you resonate in the same way. And see if you can add 1 or 2 Post-its there. And read what's been put there. Take care of yourself distance-wise. It's a great size group. In large, right? They would be putting us in a tiny room normally. This is lovely. I feel a little like the Van Gogh exhibit at the museum, moving around, immersive. I wish it were all over the walls, fully immersive. Feel free to roam and check out others, read them, think about them, because as you can imagine, we are in just a moment going to be asking you to think about yourself without having taken an assessment. We know ourselves, like what do we think? Who are we? And if everyone, just for a moment, pause for a moment, look up here. I have a pink flamingo up at the front. The flamingo is that you at any point can call out flamingo, which means you have a question or you need me to back up or clarify. So I didn't introduce the flamingo. The flamingo is here to remind you that if at any point something's confusing, you go, flamingo, and we stop and clarify it. So feel free to call flamingo. I can put it up higher so we can see it. The flamingo is here for clarity. There you go. It's nice and fuzzy, right? I had a client who, because of that client, she asked once, she goes, is there a safe word as we worked through things? And I went, there is now. What is it? She said, flamingo. It means that we just pause and check in with everyone. I said, great, flamingo. All right. So now, and add any others you would like to add, thinking about them. And And it's either way you'd like to do this. No, I'm gonna, because I'm watching the time here. Can go head on back to your seats and looking at your list on your back of your handout or the front of the handout, depending which way you're looking at it. You are going to, and it's black and white and it's tiny print, so you can match the images over here. You can read through them. Would you circle the 3 that you connect to? We find it super important that we don't say 1, because if we say we're 1 archetype, we get trapped in that idea and that limited measurement of ourselves. So what are the 3 that you think you are? My top 3 are magician, ruler, and lover. Those are my top 3. I actually had the assessment. I have 2 others that come in there also. There's some caregiver and some hero that come in at the top equally.
Yes, and my top 3 are magician, lover, and hero.
Yes. So Courtney, I own the company, and Courtney is really good at actually interpreting what I'm trying to say, since she understands me and yet is more grounded. So we are different interpretations of the archetypes, and we connect with each other. And because I am the leader of the team, Courtney's magician sometimes has to take a back seat in our work, and we can talk more about that, and her others pop up. So what are your 3? And then, and you can see that we did voice, nonverbals, and message. And what we're going to ask is in this time is that we look at and then we're going to bring these to bear in working out some actual situations. Look at yours, and I'm going to have you tell me what works. Like, are you okay turning with 2 people here, like turning to 2 people and having some distance? It'll be a little bit loud in here, but we're big space. So 2 people at a table, 2 or 3. Make sure no one is left out. We cannot be in middle school, okay? So no one is allowed to be left out, all right? So make sure and share what your 3 are, and then look at in the verbal, nonverbal, and message. We're going to start with we're going to start first with the body, even though that's not the first one in line. We're going to go with the nonverbals right in the middle. In that sense of, if I am on this chart, if I am a creator, then I have expressive gestures. And you can feel like when I'm in my strength, does that happen? And you can chat about that. First thing you're going to chat with them about is what your 3 are, and then talk about whether these align. So what we're doing the first is we're validating your own experience with what you're choosing for yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make some sense? Your face does not fully make sense, so I'm reading your face.
So,
one more time? Sure. Okay, or 2 more times would be good. So you are going, and Courtney can interpret for me. So you want to go, Courtney?
Yeah,
Courtney, you go.
So look at your top 3. Discuss with your partner why you chose those 3, how they show up for you in your communication. How do you see those archetypes showing up in your body when you're communicating, in your voice, or in the words that you share? How do they show up for you as a team member? And so we're self-validating the ways in which we see these archetypes in ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that makes more sense to me than mine did. That was
good.
What
questions? That's a better.
Yeah, what questions?
What questions?
And I'm going to have a pause button on this. I want you to right now look around, think, did you have, for any of these, the possibility of a negative bias towards any of them? We all have different feelings towards things. What we, on our journey, have found is that we have reactions to some of them. One of our teammates came up as an innocent, and she was horrified. Innocent? And then we explore innocent, right? Innocent doesn't mean naive. Innocent means finding a lightness, right? So understanding that sometimes we have a shadow understanding of some of these. Another person showed up as a jester and was horrified. They were a leader. And we're like, let's look. It doesn't mean there are a lot of, and we all been on teams where the jester was not the helpful member of the team, correct? So we might have a bias towards, does that mean they're always joking and distracting people? Or does it mean that they see playfulness in it? Is there a playful energy? Are there other elements of it? So recognizing our own, I've got one man that we're working with, a client, and he was disturbed that he showed up as a hero. He goes, that is just cliche, horrible heroes. They're always trying to save the day. And then we worked through it and found, what does that hero mean? Lifting other people up, guiding them. There are other elements to it. So finding those. So I want us to pause for a minute and notice about yourself or about others. Do you have that bias? We have biases about so many things, right? I was looking at the muffins out there. No corn muffins. That is not going to work for me, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, where's the corn muffin? Right? That kind of thing. So I know that's a light, gentle one, and you all work in a world where it really matters. So noticing that and being kind to ourselves and aware as we move through it. I want us to be aware of that. Great. Now, back to that. That was our pause to go notice what we're doing. And then share. Share, find a group. No middle school, make sure someone, you can stand, you can sit, make sure no one's alone at the lunch table. No one's alone. Exploring, I know there's a lot. Hey, I had a good question about shadows versus strengths, and sometimes I make the assumption that we're all speaking the same language. So stay in your groups because we'll go back to them. But the idea is that they're the different sides of the same coin. So the for instance for me that I use with a lot is I was working with a young woman who is amazing leader. She was great, and we got into a deep dive, a coaching deep dive. And her voice, I'm just going to move over here a little bit. Her voice was kind of like this. It was like, oh, hi, like this. And I go, what is going on? I go, where's your voice? She goes, well, I've been told I'm a bulldozer. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Okay, what is the strength? If you've been told you're a bulldozer, if that's a strength, let me just toss it out there, what does it mean you're good at? And I'm great at organizing, I can drive meetings forward, I get things done, I'm really good at that. I go, great. So what's the shadow? What is that bulldozer? I'm pushy, I'm not really listening to people. So I said a couple things. One, when you got critiqued on that, maybe the person was in their shadow, maybe not you, right? So that might have been the shadow. Or maybe you were in your shadow, maybe you were stressed. The problem is she threw out her superpower with the shadow. So she threw it all out. So what happens to us often is we get critiqued, we get a negative critique on our shadow side of something that's our strength, and we turn 180 degrees from it. So the shadow is very much connected and attached and important intel for us about our strength. They walk together, and it's not always such an easy flip. But that woman from Bonnie, that woman for me was a clear example of someone who was trying so hard to do the right thing, she lost one of her major skills. And it's not an archetype, it is that strength shadow idea, right? So where is that for her? Does that help some with that sense? Yeah.
I like how you said they're connected. You can't walk without your shadow.
Not at all, not at all. And it's important information, especially diamonds under pressure, especially right now in this time. We end up going, I know I'm good at this. How come I'm in my shadow side? What can I do to help move to that other side? Yeah, great. Okay, just a few more minutes in your group, and then we're going to get up and try these on with a little role play, real play, which makes some of you just nauseated. It'd be great. All right, good. Here, all right. Hey all. Finish up your thought. Don't let me cut you off. Finish up your thought. Finish your sentence. And when your thought is complete, go back to your own area. So we had some great questions coming around, and I wanted to mention two things, and then I want to check in before we come on up and do our last bit of this. One is that there's an element of the words themselves. We were just talking about this, that people are responding to the words, like, what ruler? How can ruler be affirmative, right? That sense of how do we go there and have that. And there's some elements on the wall on the 12 that help us get there a little bit more. And words are worlds, and words change and grow. We all know that. And we are all on alert for words that we are realizing, oh, that doesn't land the way it used to. So recognizing that these 12 have that, and to be open and discussing, interesting, that ruler, what could it be? What could the other word be? And then the discussion of, would it be helpful if each of the archetypes had two words with it? Brené Brown, the sociologist that many of us have run into now in podcasts or books or someone mentioning it like in a workshop. Brené Brown, when she has people check in, she always has them check in with two words because we're not ever just one word. And I love that idea. So I'm feeling now, I'm like, we should Brené Brown these. So we'll talk to, and we can do it ourselves. We are part of a group that, is certified in doing the archetypes, and we love bringing them into our work because we are story people. So that idea of two words. So keep thinking about that. And I think that way sometime about magician. I was working with someone just recently who is trying to be a keynoter, and he has magician and explorer and hero. And not trying to be a keynoter, that sounded horrible. That was really condescending. He is a keynoter, and he is working on changing some of his story to be more inspirational. And he had his own biases towards the words that people had used for what he needed to be. And he realized that the sense of wonder and magic in the magician, he had pushed aside because he was a very serious explorer guy, right? And he realized actually what he was fueled by was wonder. So that his inspiration, he felt like that was childlike, and he goes, you're just going back to my childhood where I feel like I got bullied for being into wonder. And I go, okay, we're not going back there. You think about that. But the idea of moving forward. Another man that I was working with, he had separated himself. And he when he did his assessment, he came out as a caregiver and as a hero. I wrote him down because I'm always confused by what he was. A caregiver and an explorer and a magician. And he is later in his career, and he had just had an unfortunate situation with a position before the one he was in now. He was trying to operate on each of his archetypes independently. So instead of he was trying to be the caregiver, but his explorer, who has years of experience, wasn't able to share wisdom. So he was coming through, it was confusing people, and he was getting odd feedback. And we realized that his explorer, who knew the answer, needed to figure out how to communicate with the younger members of his team and go, I have this experience, I want to bring this here. The caregiver was so worried about not sharing where he knew they should go that he was shutting down parts of himself. And it was really fascinating because his magician had all these visions and ideas of where to go. He was about to present an idea that he thought could help the company and help the department a lot. And we brought all three of them together to help him do this pitch. His explorer with his caregiver, finally he was one person. So this can help us recognize where do we give up part of ourselves, so the shadow and the strength again, where are we giving up parts of those? A quick aside is that we believe that this assessment holds all the other assessments. All the assessments are good. You're in the world where you have DISC and you have Myers-Briggs and you have StrengthsFinder and you have Hogan and all of those. Super important, and what can be helpful is the archetypes can hold that because it's a story that we all understand. So it can help us go, oh, I get it. Okay, my red dot in my culture index with my yellow dot helps with the fact I got it. So I can hang on to that better than the dots or the colors. Not that all that information isn't super helpful and deep. The story aspect that we are immersed in since we were born can hold the other assessments. So we're going to explore that now. What we're going to do, and I keep pointing up here because I'm going to have someone come on up and they are going to be in their archetype. And what they're going to be is one of the people that you have to deal with. So I was back here and we heard that often you have to talk with people whose hair is on fire. So their hair is on fire. So we can choose that. There are so many, we were talking about a client over here, they're talking about their client and how they're in their shadow of their archetype. How do you bring them forward? We need, right now, one scenario, and your scenario, if you're thinking about it, hair on fire, client, we need someone who is willing to play that character, okay? So what we're going to do is, and I'll give you the whole thing, we're going to have that person standing here, and this is an antagonist-protagonist idea, and they are the person who is troubling, and we can talk about where we think they are, where we have a feeling the archetype, are they in the shadow, and what's the situation. Then we're going to have a few of you come on up and try on your archetype and different archetypes and figure out what would work to talk to this person. So we have one person, and I get my protagonist and antagonist, I've been teaching this a long time, confused at times. Courtney will straighten me out on this one. So we have that, and then we have the various solutions to the problem coming through. So we're going to have people come a little closer, but only close as you feel comfortable breathing, all right? So please honor that. And we don't have a lot of time, so I would love someone just go, I would love to make myself super uncomfortable and come on up and play the problem person. Who's ready to play that problem? You are, awesome. Hair on fire, here she comes. Kind of planted that seed back there, that's good. Thanks for letting my garden grow. All right, great. So you're going to be here. Can you see, do you want us up on the platform? Is it easier when we're up on the platform? Yes? Okay, great. So pop on up here. Great. Oh, yeah. Okay. She'll have the mic. And then I need 3, 4, 5 people. Just come on up, and you are going to step into your archetype, and I'm going to talk it through, and you're going to try. Great, come on up. Good, I love it. Great. We're going to line up over here. That lectern is always sort of somewhat in the way, but it's good because it'll keep us 6 feet apart. So you can only talk to her from way over here. Okay, so line up here. We'll come up in just one at a time, keeping you up. Great. A few more. We need 3 more people behind us. Come on up. We're going to try things. Come on. Great. All right. And while we're doing it, extrapolating, thinking about yourself doing this kind of thing. Great. All right. So the situation, share with us what the situation is.
The situation is, I have a project. We follow our processes through our project, and we do not deviate from these processes.
Okay.
So the processes are, we do our initiation and planning first.
Great.
Right? Initiation requires 2 documents that we have to produce for this. Then we go into planning, which requires about 6 documents.
Great.
Each of those documents takes about 30 days to create, internal approval, external approval, and go through the whole approval process.
Great.
The situation is we have 2 weeks before we start our design build. This is around software.
Great. So it's around software. So just because of time, I'm going to short.
So
you're the person whose hair is on fire.
I have my hair on fire. I'm the client.
Okay, you're the client.
We haven't gone through those planning documents yet.
Okay.
I have 2 weeks before I start my design build.
Fantastic. So what is your line that you're going to give to this person? We're going to set it up. So you are probably, what is your archetype, do you think? And what are you in a shadow? And just try it out. We're just trying some things, or a couple of them.
Say ruler.
Ruler. Okay.
Okay.
And the shadow of that is pushy, maybe a little?
Pushy.
Pushy?
Yes.
Okay.
Demanding.
Demanding.
I want it now.
I want it now.
And so what you have to do.
Well, you don't have to tell you. Yeah, you don't know. We don't know what they have to do. That's what they get to do. You're the problem. Your hair is on fire.
I need these documents done in 2 weeks, and I know they take 30 days.
Great.
And I need all of them. However.
Great. So We only have 2 microphones, so I was trying to figure out if I should take that off or not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this microphone between, okay? So
Okay.
can you give her all of your
Okay, so in order to get these documents done, I need to get a request for our work ahead. And I want it now because you have 2 weeks left. So I want it now. I want it today. I don't care what you're doing tomorrow. I don't care what you're doing on Monday. I need it today. And I can't wait.
Yikes. Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, great. So we're going to have you give, what would be the response to that? Think about your archetype, think about your strength, where you are. What is your first comment? And because I'm a communication coach, I'm just going to have you get back on both feet. Sorry, can't help it. There you go, great, thank you. All right, so stay on both feet, that's good. All right, here you are. Yeah, so what would you say to her?
That is a large request. I'm going to need to think about how I can rearrange my schedule to try to accommodate for it.
Great, hold there, just for a second. Great, hold there, right? What's your archetype?
I think I'm going to go with Jester.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great, so in my immediate response is, seriously, you're not taking her seriously, right? I go to a bias immediately about Jester. Who went to, when she said Jester, went a little biased on that. Anybody go with me on that one? Yeah, right?
That's okay, that
yeah,
happens
it's like,
a lot.
No, it's good. It's good because they all have their strengths, so that's great. And yet what you said brought a lightness to this, right? Mm-hmm. Great, and listening to her, fantastic. She has a response to you. Okay.
But wait a minute, you've known that this has been a problem for at least a week, so why haven't you worked this out? Why can't you tell me now?
Great, so we'll hold there. So your line's great. You're going to go to the end of the line, you're probably going to come back, okay? Great, come on up. Do your first line again, your first frustration, I need it now.
Okay, we have 2 weeks left and I need a request now.
You got to be the person that you were before. You got to go for it, man. You were like annoying. That was awesome. Do that one.
Okay, I have 2 weeks to get all these documents done and approved and reviewed by everybody, internal, external. I need to know now. I need that request sent to me now. I can't wait till tomorrow. I can't wait till Monday. I need it today.
Great. Call out. So we're going to get ready to answer. What are some of her body language? Was it expansive or was it tight? Tight, right? How about her voice? What was being used? It was higher, tighter. Tight is often part of everything. Oh, the words we use, how our voice comes across, all of it. Good, great.
Jill, I hear you, I understand. You understand the process. There's a reason why we go through this process and involve everyone. If we want this to kind of go off the rails, go off scope, and not meet the quality of your end product, we can do that. We can hit 2 weeks, but we need to follow the process, and it takes time, and it involves a lot of people.
What's your archetype?
Every person.
Every person. So everybody's equal with that idea of that. Okay, cool. And what's your response to that?
But what's taking so long? You've known about it for over a week. Why can't I have it now?
Tim, who is...
Hey, here you go. So, because it doesn't catch.
Tim, who is a pretty significant stakeholder here, he's been on PTO. He has some family things going on. We need to be understanding of that.
Great. So I'm going to ask, so I want to check in. I have a microphone. Hold on to that. I want to check in with his tone. Are you open to some feedback? Are you okay with that? Yeah. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, you open to some feedback? I want to add, and I want to check with people. We need ingredients. Because right now, what does it sound like just a little bit for you talking to her? A little, yeah. And, okay, great. Yeah, and does it sound with that a little like, has a little...
Who can pick out number 2?
Great, cool. And I was thinking that it had a little petulance in it, a little bit of, right? It had a little like, right? And I was like, wait a minute. And that can land in different ways. So I want to bring in I want that, but I want as like a recipe, a little lightness. What's your second one?
Innocence.
Great. Can you bring that lightness in? So I want you right now, you're killing your innocent. You think you're innocent, do you think? Do you like your innocent?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay. Full transparency, the third one is ruler, and as needed, they all fit together.
We were talking about that with what you do. You have rulers, innocent caregivers, right, in your jobs, all that kind of thing. So innocent, it feels like you're not giving quite enough love to your innocent. Can you give a little more love to innocent and give that similar answer? Not all the way, just similar answer. Here
Jill,
we go.
I'm really sorry that this isn't meeting your needs, but there are a lot...
And, just use and instead of but. Just do that for me. Just
and there's a lot of other individuals that are also important stakeholders in this process.
Great. We would do even more, but that's good. Bringing that lightness and go, I know that energy is there. Yeah. You could, I know, she's good. She's gonna keep going. Because of time, we're gonna give, yes, go on back. Yeah, here we go. Come on up. Give love, yes. All right, you ready?
Respond directly.
Yeah, go, give the short, powerful end
But
of
don't
it.
you have someone else that could do it if you can't?
Well, the good thing, Jill, is that we actually have done 30% of the work already. So we're only a couple days behind. And if we get your help, we can catch up, and maybe we can get you the documents in 3 days. Would that be okay?
Hold on, good, just because of time. Here we go. And who are you? What's your main archetype?
Main was Explorer.
Explorer, great. What was feeding that too? Explorer and something else. Did you have something else feeding that one? Caregiver, explorer. Did that sound like that? Yeah. Here's the thing that's interesting with all of this, is that when we try to go there and we don't allow our full heart and breath into it, it can have a little bit of a condescending feel. That's just a note to self. Not that yours was going there. I want you to know that. But the sense is that when we try to hold on to it, to move it somewhere, we can have that when we're holding back our breath and I go, I'm supposed to be a caregiver. The weird lady in orange said to go with my archetype. I'm going to do that thing. And then if I'm holding back my breath and not fully being here and available, we use the word available versus vulnerable, fully available, if I'm not fully available with you, I don't remain in dialogue, I separate myself. So then we can get that condescending. So one of the things that's tricky about this as we move through them is how do we remain present. So that was great. Give him some love, Here goes, hand it to Bonnie. Oh yeah, here we go, great. One line, here you go, one line, great.
So I'll pretend she said what he said. 'cause
Okay,
I
great.
have a response.
Perfect.
Well, that sounds okay. Let's see if we can work with that. I'll try to push people on my end to go a little bit faster. Maybe it won't take us 5 days to approve something. Maybe we can do it in 3. But let's see how that works out. But I still need to get it now.
That was good listening, Bonnie.
Okay, Jill, your math is confusing me a little, but but you know what? I'm really glad that you're offering to work with me, because I know that if you and I and our team put this together, we're going to get it done, and we are going to rock it.
Woohoo! All right, good. So hold on to that for just a second. I want to check in with all of you, with them, right now with your response. Can you, and I'm going to get out of the way so you're here. Can you do your body of frustration? Just put in your physical being, without any words, what was your body of how you were feeling? Yes. Can you each find a pose for what you were giving? It will be weird. It's super weird. I'm an actor. I do weird stuff all the time. You do not. All right? And great. Yeah? Right? Okay, cool. What's yours? Good. And do it out for them. Do it out for them. Yes. Great. Fully open. Good. Great. And fantastic. So that sense of when we are connected physically, when we realize we're bringing our whole body to it, when our breath is flowing, how do we connect with each other? So can I have everybody stand up? We're so at the end. We're so at the end. Give these people a fabulous hand. Woohoo! Courtney, do you want this? Here we go. And what we're going to do is, where you're standing, I'm going to let you go in just a second. I would normally do a circle because I'm a freaking drama teacher, right? All right, so where you are, I'm going to come around and I'm going to ask you to share out one word, one phrase that you want to carry forward from something today. One word that you want to carry forward, all right, to whatever it might be. And we're going to start all the way back there. One word. Yeah, that'll be better about this. Here we go. I'm going to go like this. One word. Toss it out.
Encapsulating
Like today. Yeah, something from this hour that you're going to carry forward.
opening.
Great. One word.
Learning.
One word. Don't hold back. No phrase. That's good. No, it's great. It could be a word or a phrase. That's my direction. Yeah. Open. Body. Or body. Just kidding. All right, body. There we go. Yes. Self-aware. Enlightening. Great. Yes. Enlightening. Body language. Learning. Your truth. Physicality. Connected. Tone. That was awesome. Triskaidekaphobia.
Fear of the number 13.
Thank you. Great. Here you go. Collaborate. Over here. Growing. Discovery. Check in. Self-aware. Expand. Balance. Alignment. Thank you. Did I get everybody? Okay, thank you for being here. Please feel free to connect with us. We have cards. Find us. Check out the assessment. We're here to support you in any way if you have any questions or thoughts or whatever. Thanks for going on the journey with us. Yes?
If you want the PDU code for the class, you go to the app in the upper left corner. In the
Here we
upper
go.
right corner. In the upper right corner is digital program, and that is a download. It's like a program download, like a PDF, and if you scan through there, you'll find the name of the class, and there'll be a PDU code there. Okay?
Thank you. Thanks for coming, and yeah, take care. Woohoo!